Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where today we're checking out not one, but two new songs by Japanese J-pop and soul legend HIKARU Utada, which is something that I've been really looking forward to doing. We don't often cover as much pop as we do rock here, but HIKARU Utada is one of those names who's so famous within the Japanese music industry and kind of internationally as well, that it almost seems remiss that we've never really touched on any of her songs. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that, and a little bit about why I decided to review two songs in this coming segment. Yep, that's right, I got all my notes together, wrote down everything I thought, and here is why I reviewed these two songs and what I thought of them. Utada Hikaru is one of Japan's most long-lasting and beloved pop stars, often bridging the gap between J-pop stylings and Western R&B. Somewhat unsurprisingly given her birth in America to Japanese musically minded parents. Adulthood success has mainly been down to a surprisingly consistent output of material that often stays in touch with current trends without being too swayed by fashionable gimmicks. This has led to a career that is beloved by many pop fans, often radio-friendly, but gaining expectedly mixed opinions from those who are not normally into radio-friendly pop. Or R&B for that matter. This YouTube channel, however, has always been built on the concept, though, that every style has its place, and after a stressful week, I was really overjoyed to see a new HIKARU Utada song come out and the chance to chill with something of simple, honest quality. Having first heard of her work a couple of decades back, like many, I had maybe drifted away from her content until Fantome, I think that's how you say it, a few years ago, and this seemed like a great opportunity to really look into how one of J-pop's greats is representing herself in the current musical climate here in 2021. As you may have noticed from the video title, however, I checked out and compared two songs. See, Pink Blood left me with some concerns which were quickly washed away by skipping to One Last Kiss, the song that came out a few weeks prior. But why? Well, I thought this would be an interesting topic to tell you about now, so here we go. Anyway, but still, both songs are very much in keeping with her style of melodic R&B pop, both with a mature approach to her usually minimalist arrangements, implemented with nice, careful production, and yet One Last Kiss I had on repeat play for a while, whilst Pink Blood had me struggling after just the first listen. As we've mentioned so many times before on this channel, subjectivity is a big factor, but as with my Regal Lily review a month or so prior, I hope to stir the pot with some subjective views on objective truths and see if you guys agree. Or, as usually is the case with my Discord folks, don't. So, let's talk about what makes both of these songs work at their core first. Both Pink Blood and One Last Kiss are based on a simple chord structure and extracting the most out of that structure using harmonic layering of vocals and unimposing instrumental elements like electric piano and very short, sharp guitar plucking, etc., etc. Effectively, the bass line is the center of both songs, leaning towards that chilled minimalist style with a solid core as I was talking about before. The real fun of such arrangements is that they leave the artist with masses of room to be playful in the spaces around the vocals and the bass with the arrangement. Despite listening to as much rock as I do pop, I accept that this is the key value in the difference between those two basic definitions of contemporary music. Rock gives you a timeless and tested set of sounds to work with, assuring that everything from punk to prog has a clear foundation of tools to build from. Pop gives you a lot of room to play with sounds, leading to some creative masterstrokes of arrangement, but also a lot of fad sub-styles that become dated rather quickly, and as of recent, a lot of lazy minimalism that can often leave music sounding soulless in its mechanical attempt to not offend whilst delivering a bankable earworm and danceable beat. Music by committee for sure, if you've ever heard it. Now, Hikaru's music may also often be minimalist, but is usually marked by character, and these chilled out jazz elements delicately peppered into both songs with some more dance-style production running through One Last Kiss result in music that is purposefully spacious rather than cynically bland. It's detailed and deliberately understated in its tiny rhythmic and production nuances as opposed to being thin on creativity. So both songs come off as positive examples of a subgenre of pop which has otherwise recently been rather woeful. So why did Pink Blood just not work for me in the way that One Last Kiss did? I say as I dive into the subjective zone. Follow me. Well, frankly, I think a lot of it was identifiable in the very first passage of Pink Blood and the vocal lines that Hikaru gets to work with thereafter. Whereas One Last Kiss takes its time building up gently and introducing elements and subtle changes along the way, Pink Blood puts its heaviest foot first with a slightly off-putting vocal refrain in the form of Hikaru repeating the two titular words over and over with a soulful offbeat delivery that would sound refreshing in a verse but feels a tad messy in this loop, combined with a vocal melody that gives her very little to work with and feels equally repetitive after a while. Pink Blood is only going to deliver for you if you find its rather static melody to be an immediate earworm from the start. Despite having some moments when it grooves a bit better, the melody just didn't work for me at all, whereas One Last Kiss felt like a musical story that you could follow. A melody that kept proceedings welcoming, but wanted to take you on a journey that couldn't just be simply summed up in the first few bars. Yes, this hook is very, very simple, I know, but notice how it bounces between the rhythmic ohs and the melodic hook line, giving each a chance to pull back the spring and land on each passage like a sort of call and answer back and forth. This allows each segment of the chorus to continue to have impact whilst benefiting from their contrast to each other. However, a constantly repeated set of melody lines like in Pink Blood just simply can't pull this off. Simply put, therefore, melodic variation is imperative for opening the door to emotional depth and the aforementioned sense of direction. The quality of a soulful singer is their ability to project emotion without having to hammer your ears necessarily. It's about speaking to the listener in a way that feels like the song was written just for your attention, and it's a skill that has kept Hikaru's music in good stead for most of her career. Both songs sit in a lovely, delicate bed of production, but one of them makes good use of its star, while the other seems to not require the talents that are on offer quite so much. Oh, and just before you say it, I do accept that Hikaru is likely 100% fine with what she's made for herself here, but subjectively, one of these songs was above and one below the line of putting her in a position where she could lead the song along for me. The little things, eh? So, as ever, time for today's metaphor, but this time we have two songs. Like I say, one that I was with and one that I really did actually enjoy. So, here we go. One Last Kiss is a Google search. Pink Blood is a Yahoo search. Both work, both are based on years of development, both are well made, but you just know that one is cleverer and it's the one you'll end up revisiting more, because you're probably going to get more from it. So as ever, a lot to unpack on that one, and I think that these are, like I said, these are two songs that are just clearly class products of someone who's really a long-standing professional in this field. You know, the production, everyone working on this was clearly doing a really good job and going for that sort of soulful minimalist sound, but with a real good quality. Just for me, like I say, just Pink Blood just felt, it got into that area where it felt repetitive. It didn't really feel like it was going anywhere for me. It didn't really feel like it was ever going to get anything out of Hikaru. Whereas when I was listening to One Last Kiss, I was listening to a song that actually felt it was taking me somewhere. So I'm really interested to know what you guys think. As ever, I've worked with music my entire adult life, but it doesn't mean my opinion's worth anything more than yours. It just helps me articulate it. So time to get in there and articulate your thoughts for me in the comments. Tell me if I'm totally wrong, or what you at least think. Tell me what your opinions are. Do you have any other songs that you think are really great? What do you think about her career progression as a general? Are there any notes that you want to sort of bring up? Anything that you think I should go back and check from the past? I'm really interested to know what you guys think, especially if you're a more long-standing fan or just someone who's maybe new to her music and only hearing about her now. Get in the comments and tell me what you think. A big thank you, as always, to anyone who likes and subscribes. Some of that YouTube-y stuff. You can follow any of the social medias down in the link thing in the description below box. We try to keep them all as active as possible, but the Discord is definitely always buzzing with conversation, so do go there if nothing else. And a big thank you, as always, to our patrons for keeping this channel alive. You can see, adverts for a reason. We don't stuff them in your face, but we appreciate that you guys give us those contributions that keep us going, because we're not exactly working on a big budget here. So thank you to absolutely everyone. Thank you especially for getting through to the end of this video. And until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these, for now, ciao ciao.